Thank you for tuning in. My name's Rebecca Braga and I'm one of the partnerships managers here at Tyro. And today I'm joined by Anthony Rex Thomas, who is the general manager of Thornley Squash and Fitness. Anthony has spent the last 20 years shaping the squash and fitness industry, building a reputation for putting people and relationships at the heart of every decision. He thrives on creating sustainable, real-world solutions, whether it's through embracing new technologies or building customer experiences that last beyond the quick win. His passion for entrepreneurship also extends beyond the fitness industry. Alongside his wife Emma, he runs Pets on the Run, a much-loved dog walking company on Sydney's north. Rex, thank you for being here.
My pleasure, thank you.
So today we'll be discussing the topic from 1 to 5-star efficiency, why Tyro's POS integration was the deciding factor for Thornley Squash and Fitness. Rex, I'd love for you to give us a bit of an overview of yourself and Thornley Squash and Fitness and how you've gotten to where you are today.
Yeah, sure. I guess I'll start with Thornley and what it is. It's the home of New South Wales squash. It's got 9 squash courts, a bar, a gym, Jimmy Smash Burgers out the front, and it's a really big community. Built in 1979 by the members. We host the New South Wales Open, state titles. We've had Australian championships there. We've had World Championships, the World Masters in 2009 with 650 entries. It's just wild. So yeah, it's really a staple in the community.
Yeah, absolutely. I love the idea of being able to get a drink and burgers after a workout too. That's awesome.
Got to earn your beer though.
For sure.
Yeah, so I fell into the role when I was 19 years old. I moved from Ballina and I was scouted for the academy at New South Wales Squash, which I was doing that for a couple of years, learning to coach, learning about Thornley. I got a job there and that sort of helped me support my career. Mm-hmm. Eventually I decided that I wanted to go into the coaching and managing side of things opposed to the professional circuit. And that's how I ended up there. Had a few general managers that have taught me along the way. I've done my sports business management degree and progressed and slowly learnt more and more as I've got older and how to scale up a small business.
Yeah. So Rex, running a business in Australia is not easy. Costs are high, staff are stretched, and customers are demanding an increased seamless and frictionless experience. Now, before Tyro, you were with a bank that couldn't integrate the FPOS machine into your point of sale systems. Can you explain what kind of impact that had on the business day to day?
Yes, that was a good question. It was quite hard to get some streamlined service going because you had to manually input everything, which allows for errors from the staff, allows for time consuming, and then if the FPOS machine doesn't work properly, then you've got to get the old swipe machines. I don't know if you remember those. Yeah. I haven't used one for a long time, which is great. But so it's great to move away from all that hassle and move into a really fast, streamlined enter. It connects with the integrates API into our POS system. So we just push the button and the items are there and it just pops up.
Yeah.
So it's really good.
Yeah, and I imagine as a business owner, the level of visibility that would give you in real time as transactions are going through is completely different to the non-integrated experience, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Everything was manual. When I first started, we were writing things down on paper, like your items that you've sold. So it slowly evolved.
Yeah. Interesting. And what made you realise that it was time for a change? Was there a specific moment or an ongoing issue that kind of triggered the decision to look for an integrated payment solution?
Yeah, there's a couple of things there. The first thing was we just got a grant from the New South Wales government to upgrade our facilities and make it more welcoming and accessible as well. So that's really helped us grow the business and make people feel more comfortable in the facility. A lot of squash courts can have that older feel to them, and it's made a massive impact, especially getting more women in sport. And the kids feel safe, parents feel safe in the facility now. But with that came more people and more business, and we were struggling with the old system. Yeah. So I was at a concert or a festival. I saw them using Tyro, and they were pumping through people in the drink lines like quick as, and I was just like, I need that.
Yeah.
And so that's the moment I started looking for a POS integration, and then something that worked with Tyro, and I found one, Sports Logic, which has been a great system for us, and aligns with Tyro, which is even better.
Yeah. And with that POS integration, you're able to have the terminals at the bar. When people are buying equipment, I assume you've got a facility for them to buy equipment. So it's kind of integrating many different types of checkouts where your customers are interacting with the business,
Correct.
right?
Yeah, it's quite hard to find POS systems that does everything we want, from core bookings to memberships to selling drinks to stock control and all that. So it's a complicated business, but it's simple for the customer.
Yeah.
Complicated for us, but simple for the customer is our sort of ethos, like making it as easy as possible. So less time doing that and more time talking to them and finding about their day and doing the real things.
Absolutely. And it just improves that overall customer experience ultimately. So I'd love to know what made you realise it was time for a change. Was there a specific moment or an ongoing issue that kind of pushed you to explore new options?
Yeah, absolutely. We had successfully received a grant from the New South Wales government to refurbish the facility and make it accessible to the community. So that really helped bring more people into the club, but also we weren't prepared for the traffic that was coming in. So we definitely were looking around at what was available for us, and Tyro popped up in my head because I'd seen it at a concert one time and seen them pumping out people in the drink lines, and I was like, I need that. That's what I need. So I went back and found a POS system that worked with Tyro, and away we went, and been beautiful ever since.
Yeah. I'd love to know what made you realise it was time for a change. Was there a specific moment or an ongoing issue that led you to explore other options for payments?
For sure. It was getting busier because we got a grant, and the facility had an influx of people. The old systems weren't working well. The systems with the POS interaction, there was no POS system. It was quite hard. So there was more time, people were waiting for us to serve them, and it was delaying courts. So we had to just keep looking at what ways that we could make it more efficient and more seamless for the customer.
So Rex, tell me, what was important to you when you were looking for a new payments provider? Did you go into it having a list of must-haves, or was it more of an exploratory type of search for a new payments partner?
First thing was finding something that went with the POS system. There was 3 options at the POS system that I found that could cover everything that we needed. And I think Tyro was in my mind because I'd seen it in action, so I felt comfortable, and that it was in a trusted, busy location already, so that gave me a bit of confidence to go forward with that. And then I've checked their fees were very competitive at the time, and have remained that way for the 5 years or 6 years I've been with them, so it's been good.
Yeah, so interesting how that trust factor you said came from actually seeing Tyro in action, servicing that high volume of customers, and then realising that's potentially a really good solution for your business as well.
Absolutely. Yeah, if it can handle that sort of traffic, then it can definitely handle our traffic.
Rex, what was important to you when you were looking for a new payments provider? Did you go into it with a list of must-haves, or was it something that you were just kind of exploring and Tyro had the right fit kind of thing?
It was quite interesting. When you're sort of scaling up in a business, you do look at a lot of things, including costs is one of the big drivers, but also trust and reliability, which it's hard because you don't really know. So I was just lucky that I'd been at a facility that was running Tyro, and that I'd seen it in full action, pumping through people, thousands of people, and didn't drop a beat. Every time I went up, I got served, and I was on my way, just tap and go. It was very seamless, and so I really thought that would be good for us. If it can work for that, it can work for us. And I think so the trust was there, and another big benefit to it all was it integrated with the POS software that I wanted to use, and because Tyro has so many different APIs out there, it's awesome. It gives you options as well, and I got to explore a couple, but the Sport Logic one was the best one for us. Just integrating with core bookings, memberships, bar sales, management and all that. So yeah, and just one button push. Staff can't make those mistakes that they did previously on the old machines, and haven't had to get the old card swiper out, so that's even better.
It's a huge benefit, isn't it? You don't want to be bringing those out during a busy period, that's for sure.
Yeah, exactly. You had to have a little pigeonhole just for it, just so big enough to fit the whole bloody card swiper and have all your backup film and all that. Yeah, so glad we don't have to do that anymore.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's also great that point that you made about having a provider that integrates to many different point of sales, because it gives you that ability to choose the tech stack that works the best for your business, and you're not limited to something that might almost meet the business needs but doesn't meet them entirely. Yeah. So I'm sure that was a real benefit as well.
Absolutely. Yeah, no, it's been so easy, and I've actually recommended the POS software to other facilities, and so they would probably, most likely, I don't know, I never told them to go into Tyro, but I did tell them I was using Tyro, and hopefully they have signed up as well.
So Rex, what was important to you when you started looking for a new payments provider? Did you go into it with a list of must-haves, or was it kind of a self-exploring journey that you went on to find the right fit?
Yeah, good question.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Self-exploring is so horrific.
Yeah.
It'd be good to get to do and take it out as well, because it was tapping outside.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No self-exploring. Okay. So Rex, what was important to you when you were looking for a new payments provider? Did you go in with a list of must-haves, or did you kind of identify Tyro as the right one because of what you saw at the concert? How did that decision come about?
Yeah, there was a few things that came up with that decision, and I think a lot of it came around my POS software offered several providers, but I explored that I'd selected, and I think one of the best things with Tyro is it does API with so many, so I got to explore a few different software packages beforehand, and then pick one that suited us, and then I got to choose the payment provider, which was great, and Tyro came out on top because I did have that previous experience of viewing it in action and churning through people. It was fantastic how quick it was, and I found it excellent for our business as well. I know it's been a big relief getting rid of the old swipers. Yeah, those darn things. You just got to put them back into the pigeonholes and have another one. All the film and everything for it, and it was just painful. I haven't had to use it since, so it's fantastic. And the 4G backup is awesome with the Tyro systems, the Tyro Pro we're using at the moment. And it's no regrets there. Yeah.
It sounds like a game changer. I'm also curious to know, did you also consider costs and fees as part of that decision?
Yeah, absolutely. Tyro came out on top. It was beating our old providers, and it was on market with all the other ones, but just had that seamless integration, which I really liked.
Yeah, which is a game changer, right? Because you're not locked into a particular tech stack. Like, let's say down the line you wanted to look at something more sophisticated, chances are Tyro's probably got an integration with the new POS that you'd be looking at as well.
Yeah, indeed, yeah. It's constantly evolving, especially with AI and how people are building apps and really targeting specific niche groups now. You can really get a purpose-built software, so I think Tyro is definitely ahead of the game in getting the APIs in place and making sure it works with everything.
So we've spoken a little bit about the reasons why you chose Tyro. You saw our ability to handle those long queues and a large volume of customers really well. But earlier on, we talked about the fact that you were using your FPOS unintegrated. So people were manually keying in the amounts that customers had to pay. And I'd love to know if that was one of the reasons that you chose Tyro, and also hear a little bit about what that integration process looked like when you went to pair the terminal with your POS.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, so we went from as you said, that manually handling, and a lot of mistakes were made. Instead of $100, $10 got put in a few times, and we had to and then double the charges and all that sort of stuff. So it was really essential to find something that did work better with us. Tyro then API'd with our SportLogic software not long after that, so then we could actually get it in there, and it integrated with Xero really well, which we were using, and that's been a fantastic coupling there with the APIs.
Yeah, it really improves that operational efficiency when you have the ability to integrate one payment provider into POS and then also into a functionality like Xero where you're invoicing and things like that.
Yeah, indeed. Yeah, it's pretty like it's very important. We're pretty time poor when it comes down to it because we're always on the move, getting on court with people, playing, teaching people how to play, and that's where we want to focus ourselves. And so just having that seamless integration with the reporting and everything just gives me more time to do that.
Yeah. And what was the setup process like? Is it relatively easy for you to get a terminal from Tyro and connect that and start using it right away?
Yes, yeah. Well, I think we've had 2 Tyro terminals. So we had the originals, and then we've moved into the Tyro Pro now, which is fantastic and leagues above the other one as well, and which was leagues above our old one. So it's been great to be on the journey the whole way through that process of evolution with Tyro, and it has been really good with it.
So we spoke a little bit about one of the reasons you chose Tyro being that you saw our ability to handle those customer queues and a high volume of customers. But I'd love to get into why you chose Tyro a little bit more and what that integration process looked like for you when you were setting the terminals up with your existing point of sale system.
Yeah, certainly. Yeah, we had SportLogic was the company we were using at the time. And it didn't really link in with our banking or anything at all, and everything was manual, so quite timely, room for error, and couldn't handle large amounts of people. So we definitely had to move on from that. We found that they are integrated with Tyro, and so I had heard from word of mouth that it was going to be a really good system and that people did vouch for it. So small communities, you take people's word, and that's what we did. And so we got on board for, I can't remember, maybe 6 years ago or something. Yeah. So we've been using that. We've been through the evolution of the Tyro machines, and it's been good to see them. They were better than the banks then, and then they progressed again. And I think I just got a newsletter last week, and it seems that they've progressed again on the Tyro Pros, be able to split payments and that, so I'm going to look into that when I get back.
Yeah, lovely. And what was the process of setting up that connection to the point of sale like? Was it relatively easy? Did you have any challenges in getting that set up?
No, it's plug and play. Yeah, because it had already API'd, everything was set up already through SportLogic. So it was just great. The partners work really well with their team, and it was just plug and play.
Yeah.
It's good.
That's great.
Really easy.
Yeah, it does make it easy because then you don't have to think about, what additional steps do I have to follow? How much time is that going to take out of my day just to get a terminal set up? So that is a huge part of, what a business owner would think about when they're looking at switching systems. What about the support that you've received from Tyro?
Yeah, well, I've said this before previously in another meeting that I was thinking about times I've had to call support, and I haven't. I've ordered receipt rolls, but I went through straight away, which I don't have to call for anymore either, because I can now do that online, and there's a whole area online that I can access and see whatever I'm at, and that's really helpful. Makes it much easier. I don't have to be on hold, but I never was on hold anyway. So I think support's good, but I haven't needed it because it is plug and play, and I haven't had to do anything, and there has been no issues with our system. So once we were set up with the Tyro Pro, we're underway, and it's been great.
Yeah. So we've spoken about, why you chose Tyro, what the process of integrating to Tyro was like. Now I'd like to pivot a little bit and get your input on what's changed since you've moved across to Tyro. What are the biggest improvements you've seen? And you can cover it from, your perspective, but also from your team's perspective, and most importantly from the customer's perspective as well.
Yeah. So I think a few of the major things, the first thing is obviously the speed at which you can just process something, push a button on the thing and away it goes. So that's definitely the fastest and the best thing about it. But secondly, I think one of the things with the staff, especially the team, is just that what I'd call FPOS anxiety around serving customers and just putting in the right numbers, and you feel like there's a queue, and yeah, it's just like the pressure that they feel is gone now, so it's much easier for them. Yeah.
Yeah. And have you also, like as a business owner, have you seen a benefit from having all of those payments consolidated for the sake of reporting, fewer errors, obviously, the efficiency of being able to take those integrated payments? Where have you seen the biggest difference?
Yeah, definitely. All of it. Yeah, the reporting, the efficiencies, and the staff morale is all much more efficient, better. When things just work, that you don't think about it. So I don't think about it a whole lot, which is, I think, hats off to Tyro for making sure that I don't have to think about it and I can just get on with serving customers and then talking to the customers, because we're a community space. So I think it's really nice that we have more time with the customer and make sure that they're having their 10 out of 10 experience with us because of our 5 out of 5 with Tyro.
Yeah.
So I think it's good.
Yeah. Another issue that businesses face is around staffing, and we hear about this all the time, that staffing is a real challenge for a lot of businesses. And the reason why a lot of business owners look for new tech stack or integrated payments is actually to improve the staff experience, to help them when it comes to training and getting them up to speed on how the business works. How has having a simpler integrated payment system made a difference for your team?
Yeah, it's been a godsend. Yeah, it's been so good. Yeah, just the time spent looking over their shoulder, making sure that everything's done correctly and they're entering the right price. It's just, makes you can focus on how they talk, and you can focus on the other things that are more important than just being able to get the right money in there on the terminal. So yeah, that's absolutely needed, and it's been well received. That's for sure. Less time on those things, more time. Yeah.
And probably more time that you can spend training them up on the customer experience that you want them giving your customers, right? They don't have to think about the admin side of things as much. They can actually focus on how do you provide the customer that's in front of you with an exceptional experience, rather than them having to wait there while, someone else is making sure they're inputting the right number on a terminal.
Absolutely. Our ethos isn't about money first. It's obviously they have to pay for their, but we don't want them to think that we want that money so badly. We want them just to feel like they're welcomed, and we can have a normal conversation, and they can do it without even looking, and just hit the quarter fee, whatever they want to drink, and just hit go. And they're doing that while they're telling us about their day and what they've just experienced at work, or what the kids are up to. And that's the sort of stuff that really keeps our community tight. Is that is our focus, and this allows that, which is awesome.
Yeah. Tell me about how the integrated payments has changed the way that you train your staff.
Yeah, it's a lot simpler system, which has really helped with training of the staff, less time spent on that, which is really good. And I feel like the staff are more confident with what they're doing, and there's no errors now. So that's where we wanted to be. Yeah. So, and there's a lot less, there is no FPOS anxiety, as I was talking about before, where the queuing up of people and just entering the amounts and all that manual labour, manual processing wasn't very good and efficient. So yeah, that's definitely improved.
What did the existing staff tell you in terms of how this has changed their experience? Because obviously they followed this journey with you as well, from the old bank terminals to now the Tyro Pro. How has that made a difference for them?
I think there's definitely been relief, because I'm not getting up there in their grill so much anymore going, what have you done? Why have you done this? Come on, guys, get it together. So those conversations don't happen around FPOS payments anymore. Of course they happen still, because but overall they're really there. There's a massive relief from the staff since getting the Tyro Pro, and it's been really smooth sailing, you could say, from then.
So we know that staffing is a real challenge for business these days. Obviously, we hear from a lot of businesses coming to us looking for operational efficiency because it's causing problems for their staff when they're trying to interact with customers. I'd love to hear how having a simpler integrated payment system has made a difference for your staff, and if you could go into how it's affected your existing staff members, as well as how it plays into how you're training those new starters when they're joining Thornley Squash and Fitness.
Yeah, certainly. So with the existing staff, there was a massive relief for them, getting rid of that FPOS anxiety for them. Like, they went through the old system and now they're in the new system, which has seen less errors, or no errors in that case actually. And I'm not getting it up in their face anymore going, helping me, we have to go training again.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's really nice, and added more time to train them in other areas that we need to focus on. And with the new staff training, I think that's been very helpful, in the sense that I don't spend so much time looking over their shoulder and making sure they're pushing the right button, because it's all self-explanatory now. Whereas before it wasn't so easy, and had to make sure they did it right and didn't eventually get that FPOS anxiety. So there's a lot more confidence in the team, and you definitely notice with the customers as well, just smoother transitions, less time at the bar with the transaction, more time on the court playing.
Yeah, and I imagine this has also played into like overall customer satisfaction, because your staff members are actually able to focus on how they're interacting with the customers versus the admin that's going on in the background. That can also take up a lot of your headspace if it's not going well.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, absolutely. And because we are a community-based centre, we do thrive on those interactions, and so the customers, they're leaving work, they've had stresses, they just want to come in and feel like away from home, essentially. So just being able to talk about their day and talk about the normal things, and not about the payments and about everything else, I think it's just easy.
Customers are very demanding in this day and age. They expect speed, convenience, frictionless checkout experiences. No one wants to wait in a queue. Have you noticed customers reacting differently now that you have that smoother payments experience?
Absolutely, yeah, definitely. Faster check-ins, people are getting to their court quicker and getting on and doing what they came to do, which is great. We're serving drinks faster than ever, so that's even better. And we have, I've definitely seen actually no complaints, so with around that side of things, and so that's really nice to see. And I think the flow just works.
Yeah. And I imagine, customers get unhappy if they're trying to pay $100 and you charge them $10, or if they're trying to pay $10 and you charge them $100. That adds a negative experience to how they interact with Thornley Squash. So taking that away from the equation, having it all automated, must have really been a game changer for you.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And, I've gone from paper-based systems and evolved into, manual systems, now into semi-manual, now fully automated, much easier systems. And it's great seeing all those changes and the continued effort that Tyro puts into evolving there and staying ahead of the game.
Yeah, and ultimately creating a frictionless customer experience.
Absolutely, that's the most important part.
Running a business in Australia means you're constantly juggling a lot of different things: compliance, reporting, taxes, on top of, the day-to-day of having to serve your customers. What does it mean for you to have those reporting and reconciliation functions streamlined within the point of sale system?
Yeah, it's definitely makes life easier, because we used to actually have to track our stock manually as well, because it didn't link up and we had to do it. So having it all linked and streamlined into our stock, so that's really good for our reporting. It saves me lots of time, especially with stock takes, and just knowing the numbers are right, making sure that I can spend more time actually making sure the numbers that I'm inputting are correct in the system and the products, and so I'm not making those mistakes anymore because I can actually focus on them.
So running a business in Australia means you're constantly juggling a lot of different things. You've got to think about compliance, reporting, taxes, all of that on top of having to deal with your customers on a day-to-day basis. What has it meant for you to have those reconciliation and reporting functions streamlined within the point of sale system?
I think it's definitely been really helpful having it all streamlined, especially when it comes around to stock. You had the manual, everything, and write it all down and then double check it, make sure it all added up, make sure they had entered the right amounts for the items. We hadn't charged $100 for a $10 item. So I think it's very much streamlined in the reconciliation reports. Can see all the transactions now, and you can, it's so much easier. Whereas before, it didn't have those sorts of things on the screen before the previous models and the previous provider. So the Tyro Pro really does give you a lot more visibility of the day, which is awesome. And I'm just thinking back, but I think overall, like, it's so much more time to work with the customer and spend time with the customer, as I said before, just making them feel at home and not feel like they're just a number and they're just, I hate that feeling of walking somewhere and all they want is the money. And it's like, it's important, but it shouldn't be the focus. And we can do that every day now without fail and make sure people feel that they're not just a number, they're actually part of the family.
Yeah. And if you heard of another business that was still stuck in that clunky manual way of doing things, what would you tell them?
I spent about 3 to 6 months resisting and just going, we'll make it work. But, it's a seamless, like, you fill out your paperwork, send it off, you get approved, and away you go, and plug and play. So it's not difficult, just I think take your time finding the right POS software that Tyro integrates with is the most important thing. Make sure it does hit all the marks that you want, because there is so many. It's hard to know which one. And I don't know if you can reach out to Tyro to find out if one suits you better. But I did my research online myself back in the day, many moons ago. But I think just make sure it works for your business, because Tyro will be seamless once it's in, and plug and play is all I can say.
Yeah.
So Beck, as a business owner, I guess I'd like to know what other businesses that you've helped integrate with Tyro and your perspective on how their day-to-day operations work and the changes that they've sort of experienced.
Yeah, that's a really good question. From my perspective, I think customers experience the benefit in 2 different ways. The first one is obviously operational efficiency. So you're not going to have those double handling or the manual keying in errors that you were very familiar with from your standalone FPOS days. But then you also see the improved customer experience, because the business owner has a lot more time to devote to building a good loyalty program or actually having those really valuable face-to-face interactions with their customers. And ultimately, it's that automation and the POS system that you choose to use with Tyro that will make the most improvement to your overall business experience as an owner. Yeah, that's a good question, Rex. I think the biggest changes that we see from a business owner's perspective is definitely an overall improvement in their operational efficiency. So looking at things like, now they can see reporting and reconciliation in live time, whether it's through the POS or through the merchant portal. So they've got that real-time visibility of what's actually going on in their business through the back-end systems. And then you've also got, obviously, the improved customer experience, which I know you're really familiar with, where business owners actually have more time to interact with their customers, to look at ways that they can improve the overall customer experience. And ultimately, that just comes down to the fact that Tyro removes the friction from that checkout and payments experience for the customer.